The jazz band's trumpet wailed, slicing through the humid New Orleans air, but Jamie Carter's heart pounded louder. He stood in the courtyard, clutching a glass of bourbon, watching his sister Lily glow in her wedding dress. Across from her, Caleb Monroe, the groom, the man who'd once spat venom at Jamie for being gay, adjusted his tie with trembling hands. It was 2018, and the French Quarter buzzed with life. Tourists spilling from bars, beads glinting under streetlights, the scent of beignet lingering. Jamie, 28, had returned to his hometown for Lily's wedding, a celebration he'd dreaded for months. Caleb, once the high school bully who'd cornered Jamie in locker rooms, hurling slurs that cut deeper than fists, was now his sister's fiancé. How could Lily, his fierce protector, marry someone who'd made Jamie's teenage years a living hell? "Jamie, you okay?" Lily's voice broke through his thoughts. Her hazel eyes, so like their mother's, searched his face. She was 30, a social worker with a laugh that could light up a room, and today, her joy was undeniable. "I'm fine," Jamie lied, forcing a smile. He adjusted his blazer, the rainbow pin on his lapel a quiet rebellion. "You look beautiful, Lil." She squeezed his hand. "I know this is hard, but Caleb's changed. Give him a chance." Changed. The word felt like a betrayal. Jamie remembered Caleb's sneer at 16, the way he'd mocked Jamie's voice, his walk, his everything. The memories stung, but Lily's pleading eyes held him back from storming out. He'd come for her, not Caleb. The ceremony began, and Jamie took his place beside their father, Earl, a stoic mechanic who'd never quite understood Jamie, but loved him fiercely. The officiant's words blurred as Jamie's gaze drifted to Caleb. Broad-shouldered, with a jawline that could have been carved from marble, Caleb looked nervous, nothing like the cocky quarterback he'd been. Jamie's stomach twisted. Was Lily right? Could someone like Caleb change? As vows were exchanged, Jamie's mind wandered to his own life in San Francisco, where he worked as a graphic designer, free to love who he wanted. He'd found peace there, dating Ryan, a kind-hearted barista who made him laugh. But here, in New Orleans, the past clawed at him. Caleb's presence was a reminder of every insult, every shoved shoulder, every night he'd cried himself to sleep. The reception unfolded under a canopy of fairy lights, tables draped in white linen, magnolias perfuming the air. Jamie sat with his cousin Mia, a law student with a sharp wit, who nudged him. "You're brooding again, Jay, dance with me." He let her pull him onto the dance floor, the band's rhythm loosening his tension. But then Caleb approached, holding a microphone, his face pale. "Can I have everyone's attention?" he said, voice shaky. The crowd hushed. Jamie froze, Mia's hand still in his. Caleb's eyes found Lily, then Jamie, and something unreadable flickered in them. "I need to say something," Caleb began. "Something I should have said a long time ago." Jamie's heart raced. This was it, the moment he'd feared. Would Caleb ruin this day too? But as Caleb spoke, his words carried a weight Jamie hadn't expected, unraveling a story that would change everything. Caleb cleared his throat, the microphone amplifying his uneven breaths. "Lily, you've made me a better man. But I wasn't always good. I hurt people I care about now." His gaze locked on Jamie. "Jamie, I owe you the biggest apology of my life." The courtyard seemed to shrink, all eyes on Jamie. He felt exposed, raw, like a wound reopened. Caleb continued. "In high school, I was cruel. I mocked you, bullied you, because I was scared. Scared of who I was, of what I didn't understand. I was wrong, and I'm so sorry." Murmurs rippled through the guests. Lily's hand flew to her mouth, tears welling. Jamie's throat tightened, his bourbon glass nearly slipping from his hand. Was this real? Caleb, the man who'd tormented him, was bearing his soul in front of 100 people? "I've spent years trying to make up for it," Caleb said. "Lily taught me what love really means. Acceptance, courage. Jamie, you were braver than I ever was, living your truth when I couldn't face mine." The words hit Jamie like a tidal wave. He glanced at Lily, her face a mix of pride and pain. Caleb's voice broke as he added, I don't expect forgiveness, but I promise to spend my life proving I've changed. Silence fell, heavy and electric. Jamie's mind spun. Forgiveness? He wasn't sure he could give it. But Caleb's vulnerability, his raw honesty, stirred something in him, a crack in the wall he'd built. Mia whispered, You okay, Jay? I don't know, he admitted, voice hoarse. The band struck up again, and guests began to murmur, but Jamie's world narrowed to Caleb's words, echoing in his heart. The dance floor pulsed with life, but Jamie felt like he was underwater, Caleb's speech drowning out the music. He slipped away to the courtyard's edge, where shadows hid his trembling hands. Lily found him, her wedding dress trailing like a ghost in the moonlight. Jamie, she said softly, talk to me. He turned, his eyes stinging. Why didn't you tell me he was going to do that? I didn't know, she said, her voice breaking. He told me he wanted to make things right, but not like this. Not in front of everyone. Jamie leaned against a wrought iron fence, the metal cool against his back. I don't know what to feel, though. He humiliated me for years. Now he's sorry, and I'm supposed to just move on. Lily's hand found his. You don't have to. But he's not the same person. He's been volunteering at the community center, working with LGBTQ kids. He's trying, Jamie. The revelation hit hard. Caleb, the guy who'd once called him slurs, was helping queer youth? Jamie's mind flashed to his own teenage years, hiding in his room, wishing for someone to tell him he was enough. Could Caleb really be that person now? Let's go back, Lily urged. You don't have to talk to him. Just stay for me. Jamie nodded, though his chest felt tight. Back at the reception, he avoided Caleb's gaze, focusing on Mia's chatter and his father's gruff jokes. But Caleb's words lingered, a puzzle he couldn't solve. As the night wore on, Jamie found himself watching Caleb and Lily dance. Caleb's hand rested gently on her waist, his smile soft, unguarded. Jamie's heart ached, not with anger, but with confusion. He wanted to hate Caleb, but the man before him didn't match the monster in his memories. Later, by the dessert table, Caleb approached. Jamie, can we talk? Alone. Every instinct screamed to say no, but something in Caleb's eyes, pleading, haunted, made Jamie nod. They stepped into a quiet corner, the music muffled. I meant every word, Caleb said, his voice low. I was a coward back then. I was dealing with my own stuff, my dad, his expectations. I took it out on you. That's no excuse, but I need you to know I'm not that guy anymore. Jamie's jaw clenched. You think an apology fixes it? You made me hate myself, Caleb. I was a kid. Caleb's face crumpled. I know. I hated myself too. I was jealous of you, your courage. I was too weak to be honest about who I was. The words landed like a punch. Jealous? Of him. Jamie's mind reeled. What are you saying? Caleb hesitated, then said, I was confused, Jamie. About my own feelings. I didn't know how to deal with it, so I lashed out. Meeting Lily, loving her, helped me face it. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying to be better. Jamie's breath caught. Was Caleb saying what he thought? The idea that his bully had been grappling with his own identity was a twist he hadn't seen coming. It didn't erase the pain, but it shifted something, like a lens coming into focus. I don't know if I can forgive you, Jamie said finally, but I'll try. For Lily. Caleb nodded, eyes glistening. That's more than I deserve. They returned to the reception, the air between them less heavy but still charged. Jamie danced with Mia again, her laughter pulling him back to the present. But as he moved, he caught Lily's eye, and she mouthed, Thank you. For the first time that night, Jamie felt a flicker of hope. Maybe healing wasn't about erasing the past, but building something new atop its ruins. The next morning, Jamie woke to the smell of chicory coffee and the distant hum of a streetcar. He was staying at his father's house, a creaky shotgun-style home in the Garden District. Sunlight streamed through the shutters, but his mind was still tangled in last night's revelations. At breakfast, Earl slid a plate of eggs across the table. "You and Caleb talk?" Jamie nodded, poking at his food. "Yeah, it was weird." Earl grunted, his calloused hands wrapped around a mug. "People can change, son. Doesn't mean you forget, but you don't gotta carry it forever." The words stayed with Jamie as he drove to meet Lily at a cafe in the Marigny. She was already there, sipping an iced latte, her wedding glow softened by concern. "How you holding up?" she asked. "I don't know," Jamie admitted. "Caleb said he was jealous of me, that he was confused about himself. It's a lot." Lily's eyes widened. "He told you that?" "Yeah." "Is it true?" She sighed, stirring her drink. "Caleb's dad was old school, military. Pushed him to be tough. When Caleb met me, he was a mess, guilty, lost. He's been working through it, therapy and all. He's bi, Jamie. He's still figuring it out." Jamie's fork froze midair. "Bi?" The pieces clicked. Caleb's anger, his cruelty, a mask for his own struggle. It didn't justify the past, but it humanized him. Jamie felt a pang of empathy, unwanted but undeniable. They spent the day wandering the city, reminiscing about their childhood, sneaking beignets, racing bikes along the levee. Lily shared how Caleb had proposed, nervous and fumbling, promising to love her fiercely. "He's not perfect," she said, "but he's trying to be good." That evening, Jamie joined Lily and Caleb for dinner at a Creole restaurant, the air thick with gumbo and jazz. Caleb was quiet, letting Lily lead the conversation, but his eyes kept drifting to Jamie, seeking something: approval, maybe, or peace. As they walked along the Mississippi after dinner, Caleb spoke up. "Jamie, I'm starting a mentorship program at the community center for queer kids, especially those from tough homes. I'd love your input, if you're willing." Jamie stopped, the river's current mirroring his swirling thoughts. "Why me?" "Because you've lived it," Caleb said. "You know what those kids need, someone to tell them they're enough." The sincerity in Caleb's voice was disarming. Jamie thought of his younger self, desperate for acceptance. Could he help others avoid that pain? Could he work with Caleb, of all people? "I'll think about it," Jamie said, his voice steady but guarded. Caleb nodded, a small smile breaking through. "That's all I can ask." As they parted ways, Jamie felt the weight of his anger lighten, just a fraction. He wasn't ready to forgive, but he was ready to listen, a start. Back in San Francisco, Jamie threw himself into work, sketching designs for a new campaign. But Caleb's offer haunted him. He called Ryan, spilling everything over late-night coffee. Ryan listened, his warm brown eyes steady. "You don't owe Caleb anything," Ryan said. "But if you think you can help those kids, maybe it's worth a shot. You're stronger than you give yourself credit for." Jamie leaned into Ryan's shoulder, grateful for his calm. "What if I can't handle working with him?" "Then you walk away," Ryan said. "But you'll never know unless you try." Weeks later, Jamie flew back to New Orleans for a meeting at the community center. The building was a converted warehouse, bright with murals and buzzing with teens. Caleb greeted him, dressed casually, a clipboard in hand. "Thanks for coming," he said, genuine but cautious. They toured the center, meeting kids who reminded Jamie of himself, scared, defiant, hopeful. One, a 15-year-old named Marcus, showed Jamie his sketchbook, filled with vibrant drawings. "You're really good," Jamie said, and Marcus beamed, a spark of pride in his eyes. Caleb shared his vision: workshops, art classes, safe spaces. Jamie offered ideas: graphic design tutorials, peer support groups. As they talked, Jamie saw glimpses of the Caleb Lily loved. Not the bully, but a man trying to make amends. Over the next months, Jamie returned often, balancing his job with the center's work. He and Caleb found a rhythm, their conversations less strained. One day, Marcus shared his story, kicked out for being trans, living with a friend. Jamie listened, then shared his own past, including Caleb's role in it. Marcus's eyes widened. And you're working with him now? Yeah, Jamie said, surprised by his own calm. People can change. Doesn't mean it's easy. Marcus nodded, and Jamie felt a shift. He was healing, not just for himself, but for others. Caleb, too, was changing, listening, learning, showing up. Jamie wasn't ready to call him a friend, but he respected the effort. One evening, after a workshop, Caleb handed Jamie a beer. You're good with them, he said. Better than me. You're not bad, Jamie admitted. But you've got a lot to make up for. Caleb nodded. I know. I'm in it for the long haul. For the first time, Jamie believed him. A year later, the community center hosted its first art showcase, a celebration of the kids' work. The warehouse glowed with string lights, paintings and sculptures lining the walls. Jamie stood beside Marcus, whose vibrant mural, a phoenix rising from flames, drew gasps from the crowd. You did this, Jamie said, nudging him. Marcus grinned, shy but proud. Lily and Caleb arrived, hand in hand, Lily's laughter filling the room. She hugged Jamie tightly. I'm so proud of you, she whispered. Caleb approached, holding 2 glasses of wine. To the kids, he said, offering one to Jamie. To the kids, Jamie echoed, clinking glasses. Their eyes met, and for the first time, Jamie saw not the bully, but a partner in something bigger. The night unfolded with speeches and music, the kids' joy infectious. Jamie took the stage, his voice steady. This place is about second chances, he said. For these kids, for all of us. We don't erase the past, but we build from it. The crowd applauded, and Jamie's gaze found Caleb, who nodded, a silent acknowledgement. Later, as they cleaned up, Caleb spoke. Jamie, I don't expect us to be friends. But working with you, seeing what you do for these kids, it's an honor. Jamie paused, the weight of years lifting. We're not friends, he said, a small smile tugging at his lips. But we're something. Caleb laughed, a sound of relief. I'll take it. As Jamie flew back to San Francisco, he thought of Lily's wedding, Caleb's speech, the journey since. Forgiveness wasn't a moment, but a process, messy and slow. He hadn't forgotten the pain, but he'd found purpose in it, helping kids like Marcus find their light. Back home, Ryan greeted him with a kiss. How was it? Good, Jamie said, and meant it. Really good. In New Orleans, under the same stars that had witnessed his pain, Jamie had found a way to heal, not by erasing the past, but by rewriting its ending, one brave step at a time.